Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is another day of Ragnarok, and we are here in Imperia today, which Imperia is the end of Arc 3, in which a lot of people call cinema. But we're not here to talk about whether the storyline's good or not, but we're actually here to talk about another reagent. As per usual, we're going to be talking about Aethyr dust. And Aethyr dust is one of the basic reagents of the world. And as a matter of fact, most of the Aethyr reagents only seem to drop from this world specifically. So if you're looking for Aethyr anything, it's probably here in Imperia, because some of these are actually exclusive to Imperia only, including this dust. Now, before we get into the why of it, we're actually going to cover where you get it, because you can get it in pretty much any part of the world, in any street, just off the ground. But there's a couple locations that I can actually recommend the most, just because they're kind of easy to maneuver and stuff like that. One of them is right here in Aerial Shore, which is the main hub. So when it comes to getting the Aethyr dust, you pretty much just have to scour through and just kind of look for it. Like you'll find it like on the edges of the map. Maybe you'll find it just wherever, really. There are a few different places where nodes can spawn, but from what I have gathered, it seems that you can get about 2 nodes of Aethyr dust at a time. So when it comes to that, you just kind of have to search the area, and once you pick up 2 nodes, you can pretty much just realm hop from there. Because even though there are a lot of potential nodes where it can be, there seems to only be 2 at a time. And this is another one of those ones where you do have to realm hop, unfortunately. But as you're scouring through, as you can see, you can actually find other things such as silver chests and wooden chests. I'm actually going to grab this wooden one here just to get a little bit of gold here and there. Boom. Grab that little bit right there. And as you can see, I just got stardust there too, which that we could cover in a separate video down the line if we feel the need to, but we'll see. So you just kind of pick up what you can find. Here's one right here, an Aethyr burst, and I got some dust. Now, it doesn't drop in huge quantities, and again, there's only like 2 nodes where it can spawn at a time, but there are a lot of potential locations, and I've kind of been scouring through pretty much all of them. Now, in this case, it looks like I'm not getting super lucky, because I did find 1 node, but there's usually supposed to be 2, if I recall correctly. So I'm just kind of looking through all the areas, looking to see maybe I missed it somewhere. I'm just kind of looking behind buildings, check all that too, because you could find other stuff. There's a little dude working here too, that's kind of funny. So now we're just gonna move on backwards. Did I already pick this up? Does the stone block seem to spawn? Fair enough. Oh, there we go. There's the other one. So now what I'm gonna do is, just to double check, I'm actually going to do this little route again, just to see if they changed it, because when Imperia came out, they didn't have instant respawn at all. You used to have to realm hop. But of course, some of the most updated videos about this reagent are from over 7 years ago, when the world came out. So it has been nearly a decade since this reagent was covered whatsoever. So I'm just going to look through all of the nodes again to see if there was any instant respawn. Because if there is, then maybe you do not have to realm hop here. So we're just going to check this one more time. I'm going to go around, take a good look. Oh, hang on. Maybe there is instant respawn now. Hey, y'all, we're learning something. Y'all. And I'm saying we because I am too. Trust me, y'all. As this series progresses, there's even gonna be stuff that I learn along the way. Not just you, but me too. So don't feel stupid. Do not feel dumb if there's something you didn't know, because in some cases, depending on what it is, I didn't know either. So we're kind of learning together somewhat. Like, I'm teaching you the basics of what I know, and then we're kind of learning other things together. It's like that one guy. Was it pork or was it beans? Somebody will tell me. Guy who once said, "We must work together." You know. But yeah, so we're just kind of looking through, and so far, I think I grabbed the nodes, and I'm just kind of seeing, because there's a lot of different places it can spawn. So, yeah, don't mind me. I'm just triple checking everything. But I think they did end up coming back here and adding instant respawn. Just that, it's never at the same node twice, is what I've noticed with reagents. Like, sometimes cantrip chests can spawn twice in the same location, but reagents don't seem to have that. So keep that in mind. Is if it has an instant respawn, it never respawns in the same place twice. It usually goes into the opposite side of a room or the opposite side of the area altogether. It just that's just how it kind of goes. Now the other location is very, very small, very tiny, but it kind of condenses a lot of them. At least it did at the time, and we're gonna check it now. And it's called the Reverie. This tiny location, this used to be my spot that I went to for the Aethyr dust because it was always so condensed. Because this area is, as you can see, is extremely small. Like you almost don't have a lot of places to walk because it's so small. But there used to be like 2 to 3 nodes that spawned here every single time. Now, obviously, I did see another person, so maybe they picked some up. So what I'm gonna do right quick is I'm gonna switch realms and I'm gonna go to the next one, which is Diego here. And now we're gonna scour this area, and we are going to see. Because at the time, it was the best area because of the fact there used to be like 2 or 3 nodes every single time. But it's looking like either I'm getting unlucky or they might have nerfed it. And again, that's the beauty of the series, is because there are things that we're all figuring out at the same time together, which is a great thing, in my opinion. I think it's a great learning opportunity, even for me, because there might be something that I didn't know. But it's looking like they seem to have nerfed it down to 1 node at a time. I'm gonna do a third row. Oh, nope, hang on. One just spawned. Okay, so it's not instant, but it is quick. So what I'm actually gonna do is just kind of walk around a little bit more because that one just spawned. So I'm just gonna kind of see if it's consistent like that or if I just got lucky. We'll just have to see, because that's just how things go sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes there are the short windows of time, or maybe they're long, and sometimes you can just kind of, assume. That was about 30 seconds to a minute, so I'm actually kind of looking one more time just to see. Oh, okay, never mind. This one spawned earlier. All right, so there seems to be 2 places that do spawn their nodes consistently. And so far, this is not bad. So if you want them relatively quickly, this is the place you can do it. Or if you want to make sure that you're seeing the nodes about every time you do a route, then you want to go to Aerial Shore. Because this place is so small that you can eventually, you'll be able to see every corner of this place way faster because it's smaller. Where Aerial Shore, you kind of have to take a little bit more time to search, but you might be more consistent because of how much larger it is, that it's buying time for the node to spawn. So it kind of depends on what you're doing, and it depends on how much time you have, and it depends on what you find to be the better route. My opinion, it's so subjective. For me, it's 50-50. Like, they were just spawned again. Like, I've already picked this one up like 3 times now. But otherwise, that's the 2 locations I could recommend. It spawns in all the other streets too, but sometimes they're kind of hard to maneuver, or they're just way too large to do a quick route. Aerial Shore and the Reverie are the 2 best places, in my opinion, because of the fact that they're small enough and they're easy enough to maneuver to where you're not playing a freaking maze. So now we are actually going to cover why Aethyr dust, and that is where I actually have to take you to a different location entirely. So I'm gonna take you there now. Welcome to Nimbus. Now, Nimbus is a street that you go to. Also, you can also get Aethyr dust here too. Now, this is another location you can go to, and even though this was not my go-to, it's actually extremely reliable, like really reliable. I only didn't come here because, well, there was a lot of times where I didn't need this one farm that I used to do back in the day. But otherwise, you know, if you're like, if there's certain farms you got that are here, this is your place for it. So here in Nimbus, in a Nimbus Citadel, you can just kind of move around this big circular room and maybe even on the inside. But there's actually some vendors here that you actually need to go to. I'm just collecting my dust, walking around the room a little bit. This also gives us an opportunity to see if these Aethyr dust are instant or near instant respawns as well, or if it's just the other two places. So, yeah, like I went into the wrong room on purpose just to see if it spawned in there. And it looks like it might be quick respawn here now too. Y'all, we are learning stuff. Like near instant respawn is a thing, it seems. But you see these people right here? These guys have different things. Like Romar here, he has the Alfoy. And you're probably thinking, Tyr, the fuck is Alfoy? Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. The Alfoy gear is actually the crafted alternative to Paradox gear. What is Paradox gear? The Paradox gear is one of your go-to sets of level 130 gear. So when you get to level like just 30, not 130 but 30, you get the Mount Olympus, you get the Zeus gear. Level 50, you get the Dragonspire World gear. Level 60, you get a mix of Atavistic, Zigzag, and Waterworks. Level 100, you get either Castle Darkmoor or you can do some Gorgon gear as well, or you can do Chrysalis World gear, or maybe a mix of it all based on like the min-maxing. The next step up is level 130, in which you can either get Dragoon from the Catacombs, which that farm is absolute ass. You can go for the Paradox gear, or if you're too damn lazy like me, then you can just do the crafted version. Now I got lucky enough to where I never had to craft mine. As you could tell, I didn't even buy these items. But these are the Paradox alternatives. They have the exact same stats as the Paradox. So you're not losing anything by crafting this. Now, when it comes to these pieces of gear, what you need is you need the Aethyr dust, you need the Aethyr ore, you need the pure Aethyr, which, quick note, pure Aethyr you can only farm in Husk at the various fights in the Husk, which is the last street of Imperia Part 2. Aethyr ore, you can kind of get that wherever in Imperia. Shocked keys you generally get from silver chests. Astral shards, we'll cover that in a different video at some point. But then you need these freezing Xanadu items. And I'm saying freezing because I'm using ice as an example, but you need the bad version, which is the Xanadu, which you could get throughout the world. But you need the Xanadu version, which is the bad version, to then use as a reagent to make the good version, Alfoy. So that is actually one reason why you want to get your Aethyr dust, because of making that. But there is another reason why you would want Aethyr dust outside of that gear. So even when you get to 150, get your Merciless, stuff like that, there are other things you can use it on. Let's see what this guy's got. Okay, yeah, so this guy's got decks here. Now, I believe these might have the same stats as Paradox, but someone would have to confirm it for me. I'll have to take a look at some point. What do you have? Oh, this is where the rematches is. So, as you can see here, for the rematch, you also need your Aethyr dust. So with this guy, because it's the Storm Titan, you need your Aethyr ore, your Aethyr dust, and your perfect amethyst. So remember how with the Malistaire one, you needed the perfect onyx? Well, for this one, you need the amethyst, which makes sense because this is a storm fight against a storm enemy. So with that in mind, that's what makes... I just realized, hang on. So look at the bottom of the rematch. It's like there's no... Yo, what the fuck? That's kind of nuts, yo. But anyways, so with this, if you want to challenge the Storm Titan rematch, you basically need your Aethyr stuff, which you can only get in Imperia. So you do have to do some reagent farming or buying from the bazaar if you have the gold and if you are fast enough. So that is worth noting. Now, this guy has jewels and stuff like that, but honestly, these are bad. Don't even bother. Like, yeah, you can just buy them for gold, but they're not worth it. You can get some furniture, you can get your transmutes from here, in which you can, you know, buy the platinum one and stuff like that, which we'll talk about those in a future video. But yeah, so you can use them for the Storm Titan rematch. You can use them to craft the Paradox alternative, which it's called Alfoy, but you may as well call it Crafted Paradox, because that's basically what it is. But there's one more reason why you would want this reagent, and it involves cantrips. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the location right now. Alright, so we are now here in Wisteria, and if you come to this cauldron here, the crafting station, there is one recipe that uses it, and that is the Big Dick Heal and Mana 4, which gives you almost 3,200 health and 202 mana over the course of 60 seconds. Now, this one is kind of complicated because you do need to make the little ones to then turn them into level 3, and then you can turn the level 3 into level 4. Now, as you can tell, these take some different reagents like these to make the level 1. You need these to make the level 2. You need these to make the level 3. And then you need these to make level 4. In which you basically need Imperia reagents, for the most part, to make these. At least the big ones. And then you need the pretzel sticks, which I believe are in caramel. But yeah, so that is how you make the big Heal and Mana 4. Now, I will tell you, this is only to be used in a major emergency. Because look at how much energy this costs. It costs 60 energy. You can only use it twice before running out of energy, unless you're wearing energy gear. And if you're in a raid, there's certain rules where you could go in with energy gear and you're fine. In which, if you have the max energy, which is about 331, you could use this about 5 times if you're in max energy gear with 300 plus energy. Otherwise, if you're in combat gear, you're only using it twice. So it is expensive as shit. So really, like if you have other things you want to do with your energy, this really isn't worth it. But if you have literally nothing else to do, like if you have your garden, it's perfect the way you want it. If you have your pets the way you want them, if you're not much of a fisher, you don't have interest, or you already built up your bag, then this could be pretty good. But honestly, I recommend sticking to like Heal and Mana 2, because this is more optimal. Yes, it's not as many of the numbers, but it also costs half the energy. Now, yes, you are getting like 3 times as much health with this one, but honestly, depending on your strategy, this is enough. So keep that in mind. Like in my case, I need to go and get more freaking Nightshade and Black Pearls to make a bunch of these ones to then turn them into 2s. And I do need to get more Shell and Aquamarine to turn these to make these 2s and stuff like that. You get the point. But that's really the other thing of what to use this reagent on. I did almost forget that there are fishing locations that you can actually go and fish for them. I'm pretty sure. Yes, there are. You can get these at the Arrow Village, the Heavenly Palace, and the Massive Fantasy Palace. Those houses you can actually fish for this reagent. And on top of that, if you have a pet talent called Balance Scout, that is another way to get the Aethyr Dust. Balance Scout. And if you don't know what a Scout talent is, it's a talent that you could put on a pet where they can actually go like up to reagents and stuff and basically just do the scout to get you extra stuff. So yeah, that is another way to get the Aethyr Dust. Otherwise, there really isn't any other use for this reagent. You can use it to transmute into Aethyr Ore, as Aethyr Ore is like the big dick stuff, like the big dick version. But otherwise, that's really what you do for the Aethyr system. Is you get your dust from just picking it up off the ground with the possible chance of ore. You get your ore by transmuting, the dust into it, or just off of like luck. And then the pure Aethyr you only get from fighting the bosses at the husk. So now you pretty much know what what these reagents are used for. So even though I majorly talked about Aethyr dust, getting that dust is what lays the foundation to then doing and finishing your crafted level 130 grind in terms of your gear. So if you don't want to farm your paradox and you would rather just craft, this is the way to get your level 130 gear in the crafting way. So that is going to do it for this video. The next one, we'll have to figure it out. Again, we got a lot to go, y'all. So freaking many. Now, if you're someone who likes this series, if it's been helping you out, hit the like, hit the comment, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 1,000 subs for the first time in our lives. And if you have any requests, put them in the comments. Or if you're not much of a YouTube commenter, join the Discord. It is in the link tree and also in the description below. That's where you find all my socials, and that's where you can find the Discord server. We do have a channel in there as of recent where you can actually go in, see the list that I wrote, and if something's missing, write it in that channel, and I'll take a look, and then I can do the research to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about. Because one thing I would never want to do, I would never want to lead y'all astray. Like, I'm your guy when it comes to this. So much so, apparently, that some friends of mine are calling me the Reagent Man for some reason, which I will never understand. But hey, we're here. But anyways, that's gonna do it. Again, hit that subscribe button. We have a milestone we're aiming for. Let's get there together. Because when it comes to making this a community, we must work together. Anyways, my name is Aethyr, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.